Hello everyone. Today is April 8th, 2010. My name is Anthony. I'm coming to you from Cookville, Tennessee. And today we're going to discuss backing up and how often you do it and some options you have. Keep in mind there's a lot of hard drives out there for sale now that you can buy that's external. A lot of us out there who use laptops do rely on an external hard drive. I know that I do. And I use one of two in conjunction with both of them together. First one I'll show you is probably the more commonly purchased. It fills most people's needs. It's very portable, very friendly, and very easy to use. And it is called a Seagate Free Agent Go. It's about 1/2 inch thick, 5 inches long, not real big. As you can see, it's very portable. This fits in your back pocket very easily, and obviously your computer bags very easily. Pretty easy to hook up, one plug. Okay, mini USB cord goes here and into your computer, and that cord looks like this. Okay, this will go into the machine, into the hard drive, and this goes into your computer. And now when you buy this, it will come with that cord I just showed you, obviously the hard drive, and it will come with this case, which gives you a little protection. And you can optionally buy a dock, which I do have that too, but it's hooked up to my computer into a hub, and it's wire wounded, so I can't just display it. But you can go on Free Agent's website and you can see this, and Google Free Agent Go Drive, and you will see all you need to see about it. This lights up here in the front for those of you who are into the geekiness of it. It's pretty easy to hook up. I usually pull this out about yay far, and it slides right down in my dock. And that's how this works. 500 gigabytes on this. You can get other specs, other sizes. 500 gig covers me well. The reason I went with the 500 gig is because of the hard drive on my laptop is 500 gig, and a 500 gig hard drive for backup was more than ample. And I'd back up my iTunes, my pictures, and my documents folder onto this, as well as me applications I have on this. Okay, it's just so amazing. Something so little can do so much. That's one option. Another option that I've used, it's also a Free Agent or a Seagate device, is the Seagate Free Agent desk version. As you can see, it's much bigger. We'll come side by side here. See, much bigger, lot bigger, a lot different here. Okay, this holds a lot more though. Okay, and it will connect basically the same way too. You can use the same cord on this if you want to, but on this one it does be plugged up. So on the back of it, it has a Kingston lock, whereas the little one does not. Of course, your power supply, this has to be put into an AC outlet to power the unit, and then of course the standard mini USB plug, which will plug into your computer, or USB hub, whatever you use. This is much faster than the other one because it's got a power supply and a data transfer. Where on the other one, that cord's doing everything, so it takes a little longer, but it's way more convenient. This is designed for people who sit this on their desk or have really huge libraries. This here is 1.5 terabytes or 1,500 gigabytes of data can be stored on this unit. This unit did come with a backup software, which I do not use. I don't trust software to that extent. I do it manual. I reformat this every time I use it to do a backup and manually drag the files over to it. I know it's right that way. I trust that a lot more. You may feel confident in your software. I do not feel confident with backup software traditionally. I do it the hard way. Now, the big one, I use it about once every 3, maybe even 6 months. I don't use it that often. When I have a really huge change in my computer software or data on my media, I will use this. Okay, I usually, and most of the time, use my little Free Agent Go Drive, and I use it either every week or no later than every 2 weeks. I will do a backup of this. Anytime I download a lot of music via iTunes, or I do a lot of movies, or I've got a lot of pictures, or I've modified a lot of documents or created a lot of documents, to condone the time that it takes, I'll put on this, but never later than every 2 weeks. Most people on the internet will say, oh, I'll do a backup once a month. For most people, that's probably adequate. But for my sense of security, I do no more than every 2 weeks. Now, a lot of you have asked me via email about doing a backup of their iTunes. With millions of users using iTunes, that's a good question to ask. And there's 2 ways you can get that answered. You can go to Apple's website and do it. And that's apple.com/support/iTunes. Or you can also Google that and get that information as well. And I can give you a little insight into it. Make sure that whenever you do that, you consolidate and organize your library on your computer. And then if you're using Windows 7, like I use, you are able now to use have two screens at the same time on there, and you just take and drag your internal iTunes folder right over to your external hard drive, and it will be a complete transformation or a complete copy. And this is very effective. It works real well. It takes a long time if you have a lot of media. I have a lot of media. I've got about 10,000 songs and a lot of applications and some iBooks and some podcasts, and I have a lot of data on iTunes that sits on my Dell that I just recently bought. You're more welcome to watch the video on that. I just bought this, and it's you click over here. Actually, I should say this way. On my other videos, and you'll see the Dell Inspiron 1464 I just bought. If you want to see the review on it, you're more than welcome about this. But it'll do your backups. Make sure you do them, because if you lose that data, it's very hard to get back, if able to get back, or it's expensive, or it's time consuming, or the both. It's well worth it. If you set your backups to do it at nighttime, it's much easier. I set mine up to like right before I go to bed. I'll get it started, where I ain't got to babysit it, and then I'll go to bed or do whatever it is I got to do, go to town or whatever, and when I come back, it's done. It don't take me maybe 2.5 hours usually for me to do a complete backup. That's if I do everything. And then when I wake up in the morning, it's done, or when I get back from town, it's done. So it's not that painful of a process if you plan it the right way. Just don't let it go too long, because computers do crash. It happens. The parts are man-made. For all I know, your computer could be made on Monday or Friday, and whoever made your hard drive, they just didn't care. So it's fair to say that it happens, and it's worth your while to have a backup. There is online resources too. There's Carbonite, and there's some other ones that you can use. If you're going to use Carbonite, on the promotion code, if you type in Leo, L-E-O, off Leo Laporte, I watch his podcast, you can get 15% off, and if you buy, you'll get 2 months free of online backup. If you trust that methodology of doing things that way, I trust things doing manual, because I just trust it better. If you buy your own hard drive, you're going to save a lot of money in the long run. 2 years of online backup will more than adequately pay for your own external hard drive that you can trust. I have 2 of them. So I have a lot of assurance that my media, my data, and my documents are always intact in case I get another machine or whatever else. But if you need more information on how to back up your iTunes or any kind of documents, you're more than welcome to email me. Or it's not that complicated. Or if you're doing iTunes to get a more perspective, more detail, just go to that website I told you earlier, apple.com/support/iTunes, and it will be right there. And you can print it or you can just view it. I would suggest printing it, putting it up somewhere for future reference, maybe with your computer manuals or whatever, and referring to that. Keep in mind, iTunes changes their versions pretty often, and so the data could change between now and then. But it's not that complicated. It's well worth doing it, because that music is expensive. Those movies are expensive. Those applications you bought are expensive. And according to Apple's terms of use and agreement, they are not responsible for providing you a re-download of anything. It is your responsibility as the consumer to back that media up. So please do that. And whether it be iTunes or whatever it is, anything you have bought, your data is worth a lot to you, especially when you lose it and you need it. So it's well worth your while to spend the money on these things. I always tell people, if they can, budget that when you're buying your computer, and do that initially. Yeah, I always recommend that. It's a good thing to get yourself trained into. You wouldn't want to drive a cross-country trip with having a spare tire, because tires go out. So why would you buy a computer and not have a backup? You wouldn't if you knew better. So just do that. They're not that expensive. It really come down in prices. It's very competitive now. If you have any question about this video or how to do anything in regards to backing up, or about the 2 products that we showed today, or about any reviews that we've done in the past, hit me up my email at cnacoons@yahoo.com. When you leave a response, please be cordial and tell me exactly what it is that you're asking about. Just don't say, "Oh, how did you do this?" Kind of have a little reference to it so I know which one video you're talking about. And I'll get back to you at cnacoons@yahoo.com. Thank you. Have a great day.